Of course, every day is an extremely interesting day in the stock market, but you might be scratching your head this morning wondering what Tesla would have to do to get the stock really screaming higher after watching the new Optimus video. And I would be right in that camp with you on that one, or maybe the very favorable FSD article in Barron's. Well, we will see what happens this week. But there's lots of news this morning, so stick with me here. um, uh, this particular morning, at least so far, there is nothing to like in the asset classes unless you are long oil. This is Randy Kirk, and the lineup this week is going to be incredible. I've got Brian White, Brian Wang, and Larry all telling me that they have amazing stuff coming up. This will be starting tomorrow sometime, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you should be hearing from all three of those guys. And stunning stuff. I will tell you that Brian Wang is going to be talking about LK99 again, and he's at a Fusion conference right now, so he's going to give us an update on Fusion as well. Very, very interesting. Yesterday, as I mentioned, Microsoft has invested in Fusion for immediate. I mean, they're doing it right now. In case you were completely asleep over the weekend, you know that it was full of Tesla news. It was so full of Tesla news, I had to do 4 episodes on Saturday and Sunday. This is only, I think, the 3rd and 4th time I've done 4 episodes. So that's how chock full it was. If you didn't check out those videos over the weekend, I can't even put up all the cards because they only let me put up 4 cards. So go back and take a look at some of the stuff that we were talking about with regard to Optimus, and it was a crazy weekend. All right. So the Tesla Bot video, they generated a tremendous amount of response, not just mine. I mean, there's dozens of other folks that did videos over the weekend. There can be no doubt in even the doubters' minds right now that the Optimus robots will be performing shortly in a Tesla factory near you, and probably in their the suppliers' factories as well. And who knows, maybe even available for sale shortly. But if you have any doubt left, even still, you might still be wondering, no, I don't think it's going to happen. Well, let me share my screen with this. I want to show you this just real quick here. I'm going to see if I can get to my screen faster than I normally do, but that's not going to happen, right? There we go. So Tesla, this is a smoke away, as you can see. He's talking about the fact that Tesla is hiring a lot of Tesla Optimus positions. Full speed ahead, 2024 is the year of the humanoid. Okay, so here's software engineer, mechatronics engineer, QA tester, release manager, engineering technician, reliability engineer, controls engineer, robotics engineer. Well, I'm not going to read this entire list because, well, check it out. I mean, holy mackerel. Joint control engineer, senior motors control engineer, manufacturing engineer, process development, Tesla Bot. Some of these are in Nevada. Some of them don't say where they are. Oh, yeah, it just keeps going. Oh, yeah, mechatronics engineer, technician, Tesla Bot testing and diagnosis, back-end software engineer. Oh, 52 positions. Well, now we know what was going on with that video yesterday. We know the reason for it now. It was clearly for recruitment, but we didn't know there was going to be 52 positions open. Well, okay. We can also had announcements of a performance version. Again, there was so much news this weekend, you couldn't possibly have heard all of it. Maybe you didn't realize Elon said he was driving around in a performance version of the Cybertruck. So that was really big news, and at least a suggestion that maybe it's a half a second faster on 0 to 60 than the version that's been talked about in terms of when we've had the earlier specs that were put out. And then also a rumor, but not slightly more than a rumor, of a possible Model 3 Plaid. So again, if you've missed some of the news over the weekend, those are a couple of things to catch up on. And then Barron's did this article where their writer took a Tesla 3 with FSD in it and drove it for a month. And he was filled with praise. He said most of the drives that he went on had 1 or 2 interruptions. Some of them had none. And he was pleased overall. Said, hey, it doesn't, to him, it looked like it had a long way to go. What does a long way mean? He didn't say years, but he just said, looks like it has a long way to go, but it's really, really good. So that was a great article. And you'd think with all of that news, well, anyway, but the stock, of course, today is down. Interest rates are up. The market is down. But where are the players? Where are those with vision? Are they just disinterested right now? I don't get it. Well, here's partially what's going on this morning. Pierre Ferragut at New Street Research has one of the lowest numbers for next week for October 2nd. He's at 436,000. That's still a 27% year-over-year gain. Okay, a 27% and a rough month. I mean, a rough quarter. When Elon said it was going to be rough, told us in advance, but it's still a 27% year-over-year gain. Troy Teslike is still higher than Farragut's number, but Troy Teslike just came down 2,000 yesterday, and it wouldn't be unlike him to keep coming down, and maybe he'll end up near Troy. But at this point, the stock fell like 3 points when that article first started popping up. So we can figure that a really bad number for next Monday is going to be baked in, maybe already now, certainly by the middle of the day. There's not going to be anybody on the street that's paying attention, that's playing Tesla stock, that's not going to know that this is going to be a low number. So what does that do? Well, for one thing, it might establish the base. It might say, okay, 440 now. I mean, 240 is it. I know last week I said 255 was it, but guess what? Things happen, things change. All right, so we are now, is that going to be the bottom? Is that going to be the base? Are we going to move from there? No, there could be more bad news. Who knows? There could be something else. But with the good news, that's what I can't understand. Okay, so Nissan Motor Company said on Monday that as of now, all new models it launches in Europe will be fully electric, and it plans to sell only electric model vehicles in Europe by 2030. Well, I'm glad to see Nissan finally joining the current century. I don't know. Some people think Nissan will be the first to go of the majors. They're not even that big, by the way. I forget the number exactly. I think they're under 2 million units a year total. But Nissan, yeah, okay. We're glad to hear you're going to join up. Let's see. This next is a very big deal. You know, I talk about demographics all the time, and futurism. This is not going to affect stocks next month. It's not going to affect stocks next year. It's just something to keep in mind. It's something I've been talking about a lot for many, many, many years, and nobody's paying any attention. I mean, really, literally. I'm going to ask you, put in the comments below, are you paying attention? Go ahead. Say, I have been paying attention for years to this massive wealth transfer that's about to take place. It's like nothing in history. There's nothing to compare. I think Larry Goldberg said the other day that we might want to go back and compare the mercantile era in England. I think we'll find that he even said, that was mostly land. Well, as of 2021, 84% of Americans age 60 and older own their own home. That's compared to like under 60% for the entire population. The rise in housing prices over the past 2 decades, and especially the past few years, has helped boomers accumulate more real estate wealth than in any other generation, a New York Times analyst of Fed data found. As of the first quarter of this year, boomers held about 53% of total U.S. household wealth. Yeah, okay. 23% of mortgages are under 3%. 38% are between 3 and 4%, giving us a total of 61% of all mortgages are under 4%. Only 9% are above 6%. That gives you a clear case of why there's no inventory for sale on the housing market. There's only one possible cure for this. Well, there's 2. Rates have to come down or more homes have to be built. I don't see either of those happening in the next 9 months. Probably for the homes being built, probably 5 years to catch up, even if they started tomorrow, which they're not gonna. I think we're going to see pricing houses, as I've mentioned multiple times before, the price of housing is going to continue to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. I mean, they're going to keep going up. If you own a home, not a problem. I fortunately own 3. My housing, the value of my housing assets are definitely doing better right now than any of my other assets. But I expect Tesla to be at 400, I'm sorry, all-time high by the end of January. I still believe that wholeheartedly. And if I didn't already believe that, look what's happening with Optimus. Maybe we're going to be a whole lot higher by the end of January. Well, okay, it's time to look at what is actually taking place. Well, look at that. Things have rebounded a lot just in the 10 minutes since I started talking. The NASDAQ is now almost in the green. It's down only $3.65. The Dow is still down 78, but it's, you know, it's certainly not in the same trouble it was in a little while ago. The S&P is only down 3, and Tesla is now down only $1.85. So for one reason or another, who possibly knows? Now, all the Magnificent Seven are divided. Only NVIDIA is up strongly this morning. Well, Amazon's up a full percentage. Yeah, everything seems to be headed in a green direction. The Cathie Woods are split, but mostly green. So, hey, maybe there's hope for today after all. Let's take a look at the other numbers. Maybe interest rates started dropping or something crazy like that, right? Let's see here. Am I still having internet trouble this morning? So we've got the Bitcoin 26 back down to where it had been sitting for a very, very long time. It had dropped down into the 25s, went up into the 27s, and now it's back down 26,163. We've got the dollar still strong this morning. We have got gold down a little bit and down kind of at the low end of its range at about 1942. Then we've got oil up at $90.19. Now that's still down from over 91 where it was a couple of days ago. I'm still expecting it to go to 100. What do I know? But everything I'm reading, and I'm reading a lot of articles on oil so that you and I are really informed on this whole oil situation. And I'm telling you, I don't see how it keeps from going to 100, but it might not. And then bonds are definitely up this morning, 4.53 on the 10-year. I'm sorry, 4.513 on the 10-year. No, that's not the reason the stock market is now tending towards green again. Let's take a look at the other ones here. We've got the 2-month unchanged, maybe. We're starting to talk about the 3-month also. It is also basically unchanged. The 2-year, all of those are basically, it's like up 1 basis point, 2 basis points. But the 10-year is up strongly. That's interesting. I wish I had more time to think about that. I'll get back to you maybe later today or tomorrow morning if that trend continues. That is an interesting trend. So I'm going to look one more time. I know I don't normally do this. I'm going to just look one more time back at Tesla. Only down $1 now. Definitely heading toward the green. Everything is heading towards green. Well, that's a nice place to. Well, okay, first of all, if you didn't, I'm going to put up 3 cards, okay, for yesterday and Saturday. Take a look. These are, Scott Walter talking about the Optimus Bot, me talking about the Optimus Bot. Who else did I have on over the weekend? Oh, Brian Wang, very, very interesting from Brian. I even forget what it was. There was so much news over the weekend. Anyway, 3 cards. Take a look at that stuff. Be sure to hit like if you haven't already done that. As you know, it helps the algorithm, and you know how much you like to help the algorithm. And then join Patreon. Yes, join Patreon. You can do it this way. Join at the $10 level and get your free Cybertruck. You're not going to get your real Cybertruck for months, so get this little bottle opener. Well, it's not such a big. It's actually, look at the size. It's like 8 inches. My span is 9. Okay, 7 inches. Anyway, bottle opener, refrigerator magnet, same thickness as the actual Cybertruck, made of stainless steel. Looks really great. You can see my camo version up here on the shelf. $25. If you don't want to join Patreon, you can get it for $25. You'll see the information down below where you just send $25 to my PayPal account. Maybe you want 10. If you want 10, and several, we've had folks that wanted 10. So if you want 10 or more, I'll cut you a better deal than that, because I do save on freight on 10 or more. So that'll be a big help. Anyway, lots and lots and lots and lots of orders. Thank you very much for supporting me, supporting the channel. And also, I know that you want it because your friends, your family, and everybody else you know would love to open one of these beautiful, the box is too far away. It's a great box. Don't you think so? All right. That's all I got for you this morning. I'll see you later today.